Hi everyone, welcome to the Back 40 Feet where we talk about suburban, urban, and patio gardening. Today's project is more critter prevention. I am installing an electric fence. I have had some groundhogs this spring that have been voracious. They've gotten through chicken wire and have hopped over a variety of different barriers that I've put up. So I am putting up a 24-inch high electric netting. This has a pulse that goes through it so that if any creatures touch it, they just get a zap, but it's not a continuous pulse, so that they're not going to get electrocuted. Birds landing on it are not touching the ground, so they're not going to get any shock at all. Electric fences are really what would be called a psychological fence, that once a critter has been zapped once, it knows to stay away from it. And some people that have electric fences to protect their gardens find that even after about a month or so, they can turn off the electricity because critters have realized to stay away. Another thing I'm going to do to really try to discourage the critters is I'm going to be using another product called liquid fence. This is powdered putrefied egg. Gross, right? Well, critters don't like it either. It smells really rancid. And you put it basically around your garden, and it could last for about a month, give or take, depending on how much rain there is. I'm going to take the liquid fence, put it around the electric fence, so that there'll also be a smell deterrent to hopefully identify that this fence is really nothing to be messed around with. I'm doing that because I also have other parts of the garden that are not going to be electrified. So if I could get the animals to recognize that smell to be associated with the electric current, perhaps I might be able to keep my herb garden and my potatoes away from these voracious critters. And what I've done is I've just sort of laid this all out to kind of figure out where my entry points are going to be. Here is the completed electric fence. So this is called raccoon net. And you can see as we get a little bit closer that the spaces are quite large between the netting. But again, it's really just to discourage the critters from getting in. The bottom wire is not electrified. Only the horizontal wires are electrified, and then the vertical are there for support. And then we have these insulated sections to just help add support to the fence. And this is only a 2-foot fence, so I can easily walk over this. But if I needed to get anything in here, like a wheelbarrow, as I come over here, you can see that this is actually just tied together. So I can just untie this and pull it out of the ground and put it back together. This is 10-foot length sections, so it would be pretty easy to be able to get in the garden. This is the energizer. You can see that it's on, and one of these wires goes to the fence and the other one goes to a ground rod and electrifies the fence. Again, giving a nice visual indicator when it's armed and when it's not armed. And I have this inside my shed to keep it waterproof. If you did decide to get an electric fence and you're looking at different energizers, look to see about waterproofness. I was a bit surprised that this was not waterproof when I got it, and had to make some adaptations. A lot of these, this is powered by AC, but it's also powered with DC, so I have a 12-volt battery at the moment plugged into this. My plan is eventually to run AC power out to the shed anyways. But there's a lot of solar options so that you would just have the cabling pretty much right next to your fence if you wanted to. And then the last piece is this ground rod here. So this is a 3-foot ground rod. There's only a foot above the ground. And I have this right back where it gets pretty swampy. So this is a very wet area of the garden. Any place you put your ground rod, you really want to make sure that it has a lot of water to it. You could even put it kind of like in your drip line of a house to ensure it. There are other ways that you can configure the electricity if you have a dry climate or a dry yard, but I definitely do not. It's pretty swampy back here, so I'm able to use a standard setting on my fence. So, hi, psychological fence. we'll see if it's just making me feel better or if it also keeps the critters out.